My name is Blake, and I am your host, like always, like every other episode. We've shifted gears recently. Same topic, same everything on the show. We wish Mitch and Jared the best. They moved on to other projects, still homies with those guys, so what up, bitches? But yeah, I've had some excellent interviews recently, and today I have Leah Roberts on the pod. So what's up, Leah? How are you?
What's up? I'm so good.
Excellent.
Happy to be here.
Excellent. Fantastic. Great. And we are drinking, we didn't cheers, by the way.
Oh yeah, I was gonna.
So I'll clink you.
Oh yeah.
Great. Toasting to your content that we hopefully can nail down for you.
Yeah. I was gonna toast to Mallory's hot bod.
Yeah, let's do that. Come back here. Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll toast to that every fucking day. That's how I drink cocktails, by the way.
That was like, was it ASMR?
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah. Yeah.
just in there.
Yeah, you can find me on my Twitch channel at dafthobbit.tv. You can hear me do that. You can pay me money if you want. I'll slurp some alcohol right on into the mic.
Yeah.
But yeah, Leah, we've met Leah a while ago. She was on one of our clients' podcasts, Cody Adent, Winning the Moment. Shout out Cody Adent. But you've worked with Cody. You were on his podcasts, talking about a little bit more self-help, some philosophy in there, your journey kind of stuff. And it was great. Excellent clips. They performed well. But you came back to us looking for help with a marketing. You're developing a marketing course currently, correct?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes, doing that with you guys.
So this is where you can shamelessly plug with no shame. That's what shameless means. But you can plug, it's Copper
Content Co.
Copper Content Co.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Copper Content Collective.
Yeah. Collective.
Collective.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. Right. So it's just me. Triple C. And then, Triple C.
Yeah.
And then I just, like, all the people that I have working in the company are other freelancers and small business owners. So we're just
sweet.
a collective. I don't have employees. I'm supporting other small businesses. You get better work that way. That's what I believe in.
Right. I like that. That's great. Yeah. I knocked that yesterday too. We got a new desk, and if you hit it, it's like an aluminum drum. Have you heard how Chinese people say aluminum, by the way?
Is it aluminium?
No, that's British.
Oh. No.
Chinese people, though, they say aluminum.
I just said the N twice.
Aluminum.
Aluminum.
There's a video going viral of this Chinese real estate agent showing these like modular houses that come on a pallet trailer, and they're all sleek and modern, and she's just like trying to say stuff in English. Hello, boss. Check out the house. It's all made of aluminum. Oh my gosh. I was laughing so hard. But that's an aluminum desk, and so when you hit it, it sounds like drum. So maybe that's the signal now when we're going over time. You can just
kick
gong it.
Yeah.
The aluminum gong.
Just cause yourself pain, but...
Yeah. We should.
That'd be dope.
For this show.
You get little symbols. I have little hand symbols that I use for when I teach yoga.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, because it like signifies, I don't know the significance of that in the yoga world, but I've seen people, they hit like bells and stuff. And
yeah, that's usually Kundalini.
Kundalini.
Yeah, it's more energetic practice, but I just do the little symbols for like closing practice, like taking them out of the final rest, Is it just because of the frequency of those? Or? To be honest with you, I don't know.
Sorry, can you get my headset down? Oh. Like just a little bit. So you don't know if it's is it the frequency, or is it just like a ritual, or?
I don't, I don't know. I just do it. I just like it.
Okay, that's cool.
There might be.
Yeah. I have a lot to learn into Eastern medicine. I've been turned on to Eastern medicine from years ago. Just up a little bit again, thanks. But smidgens. All right, there, perfect. But yeah, Eastern medicine has really been kind of like a hot topic recently. I think after COVID, everybody was kind of like shaken and like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can trust this institution or this industry. So they've been looking for
probably
other
like
practices.
50-50.
Yeah.
Don't you
like
think?
I think people that were in it, like they went harder in the paint.
Yes.
They're like,
harder in the paint.
Yeah, in the paint, like,
hard in the paint
like
in
driving,
years.
Yeah, they're driving to the hoop.
Yeah.
Like a power forward. Yeah, they're hard in the paint there. So
yeah, they went hardcore.
Kind of like, they strap themselves down more and they're like, no, this is the way. And then
you
everybody
like
else.
Western medicine, you're racist.
Yeah. If you don't take the jab, you're racist.
You're
somehow.
racist. Vote for Trump, racist.
Yep. But we got a lot to talk about. But my point was, I'm excited to learn more about Eastern medicine. So I've been new to yoga. Mal's turned me on to it. I don't go often, but when I do, I am usually writhing in pain from old injuries. So it's great.
We should all go together.
We should.
That would be fun. I still do that at 10:31. Might be hard for Blake here, but we should do that.
We're actually stronger, so we'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was a guy, did I tell you guys last week, there was a guy at that 10:30 class, and he was so sweaty that like at the end of practice, everyone's closing up and leaving. And I swear I heard it's like you pour water out of a bottle, just slapping the wood.
Oh.
And I look over and the bro's just folding up his mat and it's like a waterfall coming off of his mat. I was like,
poor guy.
That's disgusting.
That's kind of gross.
Yeah, poor creature.
Yeah. I mean, I sweat, but I don't sweat like that, thank God.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like that. I was shook. I was shook.
Oh man, but yeah, we want to just get to know you. So I guess one of the reasons I wanted Leah on Authentic Identity actually was because you've come over a few times and we're planning out and kind of storyboarding out your course that you're going to be doing about marketing basics 101, like where to start. It's a great course. Look, it's looking good.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, shameless plug. So with
when it's ready,
Copper Content Collective, when it's up, you'll see it. And if you have a small business that requires people to walk in on a location, whether it's, I think your niche is kind of yoga based.
Yeah, yoga, wellness, health.
Yeah, but anybody that has a location with a service to offer or a product to sell, and that requires you to be on location, this would be a course for your marketing techniques. And so I'm excited to develop that. But we ended up planning your course, and then we'd kind of come to a wrap, and then you would stay for like an hour and a half because we would just talk about topics. Yeah. It was like we were doing a podcast, and I was like, we got to get Leah on the show. So
yeah, I'm chatty.
Yeah, and you've been in here before with other clients, and so it's just lined up. It's good.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
first off,
I'm stoked.
What? Give us a little backstory. Where are you from?
Vegas. Yeah. You just asked me, and I'll tell you what you want to know.
Okay, cool. Yeah, start your biography. Go ahead. No.
Like, well, when I was 5.
Yeah. But yeah, what is significant to you growing up in Las Vegas? Were you born there?
Yep, born and raised. Actually, fourth generation, I believe, in Vegas.
Nice.
Don't understand why, but
so family history's there.
Yeah.
Long time.
Yeah, mom's side. Actually, both sides. Yeah, Vegas.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's like
why Vegas?
I don't hear that a lot about Vegas. Like, that every place was settled.
Yeah.
By somebody, and so
yeah. How did Vegas come to be?
Yeah.
I think Vegas. I don't know.
I think Vegas was founded by Mormons, actually.
I would not be surprised. There's actually a big population there.
Oh, it's huge.
For a city of sin. Shocking.
I know, right? Yeah,
weird.
They got the
so weird.
Funny side note about Vegas and Salt Lake. I was in the Marine Corps Reserves, and I was in Fox Company. That this reserve unit is split. So 1st and 2nd platoon are up in Salt Lake City, and then 3rd and 4th are actually stationed in Vegas. And so they called us the Saints and Sinners. So shout out Fox Company. What up, boys? But
that's so funny.
What up, boys?
Boys.
Anyway, they called us the Saints and Sinners. So it's kind of the same vibe, right? Like there's a lot of Christians actually living.
Yeah.
Because you grew up Christian, right?
Yeah, non-denominational. Yeah, there's a lot there.
A non-dom.
Non-dom.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I didn't know that's what it was called until I moved here, because people would ask me that question. Or just say, "Oh, we were raised Christian," and they were like, "Okay, so Mormon." And I didn't realize that for all those years. I was like, "I know it's different. Like I know for a fact it's different because I've been to the Mormon church. It's not the same." That shit was confusing.
It is. I think all Christian religions get pretty confusing when you see how many there are and how different they are.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
I had to do my own research about what I was raised. I'm like, okay, this is non-denominational. I think that's what this is called.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's funny.
I didn't even know that growing up. I had to figure it out. Yeah, I had to label it.
Other people can understand, I guess.
Yes, exactly.
So early life, you raised in Vegas. What's that like? Was it just like naked people everywhere? Like people are led to believe? Because that's just kind of on the Strip.
No, but yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously growing up there, you still go on the Strip a lot. You see the big billboards with the bikini ladies and the guys smacking the cards on the strip. And
yeah, they don't do that anymore.
They don't.
They kind of cleaned it up, I think.
Oh.
But I don't know.
I haven't gone there in years.
It's a different vibe because I remember that, right? Like just see
when you were teenagers too. It was like, fuck yeah, give me all the cards.
Yeah, you're like, oh yeah.
We're like, oh, we're so cool.
Yeah. But I just remember younger, like you just see titties everywhere in Vegas.
Yeah, maybe.
And like,
I don't quite
maybe because
remember.
I was a dude and I was like looking for it.
Yeah,
like,
probably.
You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, you'd see them more, and now it's like not there.
Titties everywhere.
Yeah. I see actually more advertisements for like male stripper shows.
Nowadays? Yeah.
Than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I don't know.
So now there's just a bunch of like oily abs everywhere.
The women have taken back their sexuality, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It's the one thing we do have.
Yeah, that's probably a really good thing.
Shouldn't say that, but
the one thing. No, you guys got a lot more than that. So yeah, that's good. So early life, growing up, how strict was your household?
Super strict. So my mom got remarried. I think when I was like 6. My stepdad was extremely strict. Like, I think people think it's dramatic when I phrase it like this, but it was legit like being in a regime. I'm not even kidding. Like, bro was like almost a Nazi.
Ooh.
It was insane.
Give us some examples. Like what was a Friday night? If you want to go out.
You didn't.
You didn't.
No.
Were you the oldest?
There was no fun as a kid.
Do you have siblings or anything? Like,
yeah, I have 6 siblings.
Okay.
Divorced though, so.
Oh, it's a Brady Bunch situation.
Yeah, 3 on each side.
Yeah, that's a straight Brady Bunch, like a royal or like a straight flush in poker.
Sure.
Like, because if like one side has 2 and
I
like
would be the
one
7th.
side has 3, like that's just kind of like a partial Brady Bunch.
Okay.
But if you got 3 and 3, that's a full Brady Bunch.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, so that's important.
Just me right there.
Yeah.
Right in the middle, 7.
Oh, okay. So it was 7. So
yeah,
it was 3 and
total.
3.
Yeah.
So you were over the average Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
Okay.
7 including me. Yeah.
Wasn't a clean Brady Bunch, folks.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Sorry to disappoint.
So, but you were in the middle, like in age wise as well.
Technically, I was the second oldest, out of all of them. But me and my brother were in the middle as far as both the families. Like, we would go back and forth.
Oh, I see.
Because like she had a couple kids with her husband. My dad got remarried, had a couple kids with his wife. So.
Oh, gotcha.
We were like the 2 that shuttled.
Nice.
Back and forth.
So you and your step siblings under a very strict household, non-denominational Christian.
Me and my full-blooded brother.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Non-denominational Christian. Yep. I don't even know.
Like, did you have to
even describe it?
Did you have to like wake up, read Bible study, or like?
I wasn't as strict as that, but like, it's actually funny how often, I don't know, maybe from a Mormon perspective, I don't know, like if that's how you guys did things, but it's almost like it was a punishment. Like we did something bad, we have to go read the Bible.
Oh, wow.
Or like, I mean, that was among the many things of punishment, but like that was one of the punishments. So it's like, I don't feel like you should do that.
That's really weird.
Because then it makes them never want to read the Bible ever.
Associating the Bible with
a punishment.
Yeah, it's like when you teach a dog, like a dog learns probably yes and no pretty early on. If you're teaching your dogs things, right? But a no is like a lot sharper. Like? Yeah. I mean, who can really? There's some gurus out there though, for sure. But
my dog just sits. She don't know nothing else.
I know.
Not a damn. She can't even shake.
Oh, really? Gotcha.
No.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
every dog
it's hard, dude. You got to spend a lot of time when they're really young. Yeah. Luckily,
you get a middle age and you're.
Oh, did you get them from like a rescue?
Yeah, I got mine when she was 5. And I think it was too late.
Yeah.
It was too late. I tried. I failed. I gave up. She listens. That's all I care about.
That's good. But yeah, like if you associate like a negative association with something, like there's got to be that's got to be something, right? Like if I burn my hand, I'm negatively going to associate to not touch that hot pot or stove. Yeah. But yeah, I did something wrong and I got to go read the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, crap, Genesis 5 again.
I know.
Yeah.
When you're a kid too, and it's like the old, I don't know what the versions are called, but is it King James or something? Uh-huh. It's like that shit doesn't make any sense when you're a kid.
Oh yeah, especially when
you have to read it and then you have to write what it meant.
Oh, that's what you guys had to do.
It was like and I
did
never
learn
knew.
a lesson.
I just like bullshitted.
Yeah,
like, sure. I don't know.
I don't know what I mean.
This guy did something bad and Jesus punished him. I don't know.
That's interesting. Okay, so strict household. Like, were you a delinquent growing up? Were you?
No. But once they finally separated and my mom moved out, I was 15 by this point and had already been so restricted. I feel like after she moved out, I kind of went a little crazy because for the first time in my life, I had real freedom.
Yeah.
As a teenager, right? So there's still restrictions, but I still had freedom that I didn't have before. And so that's when I actually started like drinking a little bit and maybe trying some weed or like going to parties. Hookah lounges were big in that day.
Yeah.
Loved hookah lounges. No one ever ID'd me in Vegas. I've always looked older than I am, but also Vegas probably just doesn't give a shit. But that was a cool thing back then.
I've heard multiple women say that probably because they like had more development than other.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they look older.
Maybe.
Yeah. When I was in Germany for a while, and I think it was just emphasized more for like younger women to like use makeup earlier because they're completely flipped. Like over here, like amongst Christians and other things, and most people, like your sexuality is kind of like
tampered. No, and it totally
down.
was for me, even not Mormon. Like I wasn't really allowed to wear makeup until I was 16.
Right.
I had no cool clothes. Like I was a little loser. It sucked because I wanted to have all the cool things and like be cute and stuff, but I was very limited. Like the only cute things I had were things that friends borrowed to me, or like I'd have to go to school and put makeup on at school, but then leave, like take it off and then come home because I'd get in trouble for wearing it.
Yeah. That kind of, that's that restrictive like Christian household. I know so many people like that. But
it sucked.
In Germany, I was there as a Mormon missionary, and it was like opposite. It was like encouraged, like they didn't even bat an eyelash at like a teenager's sexuality. And so like you'd have these
what would
kids.
that be like?
Yeah. You'd have these 12, 13-year-old kids just losing their virginity to each other. Like it's just crazy. And over here, we're like, mouth agape, like
that's
what the
crazy
hell?
Yeah, that's so young.
But if over there the real extreme is like a violent movie or a violent video game, or if somebody like learned to shoot a gun, that was like fucking social death over there. They're like, you are such a bad person.
Really?
So they were so strict about violence. It was so regulated. They didn't.
Why? Does this all
violent
just
video
happen
game
after
was
the
just-
world wars and stuff? They just went polar opposite from what?
Well, you think
I'm like 60% German. I don't really know that much about my original culture.
Yeah, from what I can gather, my take on it is that the Germans view weapons as vile because of what happened in World War II.
Right.
Like what they did.
So they have a gun ban there?
Oh yeah, they have like some of the strictest gun laws. Like I think you have to go through. They're very, very strict. So socialist countries are highly, highly, highly regulated, right? Like,
I mean, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So,
they don't want their people to revolt on them.
Exactly.
Is usually the cause.
Oh, totally. And it's like it's just a couple steps down the staircase from communism, right? Socialism is like, and even democracy is on the same staircase. We're actually a constitutional republic, folks. We're not a democracy. So someone just and pop them in the mouth if you can. Just a lollipop. Just put a lollipop in their mouth. I wasn't insinuating any sort of action.
No violence. We don't believe in violence.
Just tell them, we don't. No. But yeah, they're just really, they're strict about violence consumption. It's super hard to get
consumption too. Okay.
Yeah.
So like video games,
movies, entertainment, like they still have it, but it's like for adults only, right? Like
it's ironic. Because I feel like a lot of the video games now, the Nazis are like the bad guys in the video games. So like, many nowadays.
Did you know, like, I don't know if
Serbians
it's still the
and
case.
Shit, you know, but like,
yeah,
a lot of it's usually Germans, I feel like.
Yeah, especially if it's a World War II game, right?
Yeah.
A lot of gaming companies, they don't put swastikas or paraphernalia in the game.
No, but you know.
Well, because they want to sell to Germany, and Germany, that's outlawed. You cannot even brandish a swastika in public, so... Yeah, so like what I've gathered,
way polar opposite. Then that's
so
great.
The youth there, like they don't fully understand like what the Holocaust was. That's not even
they
taught.
Don't even get the truth.
It's not even taught. I mean, they get a watered down one because the older generation, like they won't talk about it. They won't even discuss it.
Damn, this is so interesting.
Yeah, it's really weird, and that's just my perception of Germany. This was in 2007 to 2009, so this was a while ago. I
wonder what it would be like now.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But you'd see these 12, 13-year-old girls, and I'm like 19 years old at the time, right? And so you'd see a 14-year-old that looks like a 22-year-old because she's all dolled up, heels, makeup, everything.
So I feel like that's how we are now.
Yeah, that's
like the Gen Zers now.
I agree.
Are
they dress
so
differently, but they do look older.
Yeah, it's like the tiny little shirts and the tiny little shorts, and they're like 12. I'm like, what? My mom would never.
I know.
Ever let me wear that.
Go look at like old remnants of MySpace pictures, like in the early 2000s.
Oh yeah, we had like the little like emo hair and like. It was just this.
Yeah, I remember it was controversial to see Britney Spears wearing like a belly shirt.
Yeah, the low cut jeans.
Yeah, Christina Aguilera,
yeah,
because that was what my mom. I heard my mom freak out about that. These pop stars,
they look like whores.
They're whores, yeah. And so, but it was such a weird thing
because so wild.
I had a companion. I'd be there for a while, and you approach everybody as a missionary to spread the good word. And if it's a pretty girl, you're like, hey, I'll talk to a pretty girl.
What's up?
Yeah, and so you see a pretty girl, and then you find out, and they're
She's
like,
12.
Yeah, they're like so excited to talk to you because you're
Do they have
handsome
laws,
American? Oh yeah,
like pedophilia laws.
Yeah, I think like everything's at age 16. Damn. I don't know about like the
That's
sexual
not 18 because
thing.
isn't it 18? It's 18 here. A 16 if you have parental consent.
But you can buy beer and cigarettes at 16 years old.
What?
In Germany? Yeah,
that's so interesting.
Maybe not beer. I don't know. I could be wrong.
I bet they could drink at 18 because I had, there was a foreign exchange
18.
student in my high school. I think she was Switzerland, and they could drink at 18 and smoke.
Yeah. I think there's some, I'm not sure. I'm close to it, but I know you can buy cigarettes at 16 for sure.
That's wild.
Yeah. And so like they just enter mature life faster, I think.
Yeah. But then they're lacking in so many other areas.
Yeah, I guess so.
So curious.
Who's to say they're wrong, we're right? It's just different culture.
Yeah.
Whatever.
No idea.
But for me, it was really weird because, they would the Mormons, they would bear their testimony, they'd go up and share their feelings about Jesus and Joseph Smith and all that.
I do recall.
Yeah. So they're bearing their testimony and then, or they're like, some kid as missionaries, we would go speak in different areas of the church. So we're in like the primary school. And
wait, do you speak German?
I do. Yeah.
Say something.
Was soll ich sagen?
What does that mean?
What should I say?
Oh, okay.
Ich wurde von einem wilden Affen gebissen. That means I was bitten by a wild monkey.
But
very useful. It's a very useful saying over there.
Yeah,
it gets you out
obviously
of anything.
they get bit by monkeys. Over there or something.
It's a concern.
It's a real concern.
No, I can read and write okay,
That's
and then
sick.
speak fluently, but.
That's so dope.
It's been fun.
You do need to talk to Ty. Ty's been to Germany before.
Has he?
Yeah.
We should all go.
It was like a tour, it was like a vacation, so it's different. But
yeah.
But he loved it. He loved it there. Talks about all the damn time. I'm like, I know, babe. I know you went to Germany.
But
good for you. I know.
I'll tell you what, though.
Got it.
Yeah.
I understood that one.
Wait, was it Germany? Yeah.
Was it Germany? Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, wait. Can we confirm that?
Yeah. Correct. Yep.
It's a dope country. I mean, I had a great time. Well, I don't think I had a great time. I had a good time in the capacity that I could because I was a Mormon missionary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I went there to talk to them about the two things that they don't want to talk about, politics and religion. Well, I didn't try to talk about politics, but as soon as it was under Bush, the Bush administration. So I had this guy in Germany, he's yelling. He found out we were American and he just started yelling at us. And he's like, you're killing thousands of people every day. And I was like, me? I'm killing people every day? And he's like, yeah, you. It's like, it's your fault. It's your fault. You're killing thousands of people every day. And I'm like, no.
What's the example?
I'm like, I'm not in.
Where did he get that conclusion?
Because we were in Iraq.
Oh, gotcha.
He's like, you're killing thousands of people in Iraq every day. And I was like, I am? Or
yeah, that'd be like me blaming you
is.
for World War II. Like, what do you mean?
And at this point, I was actually a Marine. I went to training, got my MOS and went to training and everything. And then I did a 2-year religious deferment that under the Constitution, you have a right to defer from military service for 2 years.
Interesting.
Up to 2 years. And I think they put that clause in there because they're buddy-buddy with the Mormon church.
Yeah.
Lots of Mormons
got
work
their
for
fingers
Washington,
in the pie.
D.C.
Yeah, they do.
But anyway, and he was screaming at me that I was killing them all. And I was like, oh, okay. You want to do this? You want to do this? And he's like, yeah, he would just not leave us alone. Just screaming. And he had people following him. A crowd was gathering.
Oh no.
And they're calling us like all these baby killers and stuff. And I was like, I wonder if this is how the Vietnam guys felt. I mean, but they didn't know I was a Marine. They just saw me as an American, so they were yelling at me. And he's like, you're killing them. It's your fault. You're the problem. You're the problem. And I just turned at him and I was like, you killed the Jews. And everybody.
Yeah, like if you want to point fingers about shit that's not my fault, let's go for it. Like,
he's like, everybody froze. And I was like, you killed the Jews. And he's like, what? I'm like, you heard me. You killed all the Jews. You did it.
Single-handedly.
It was you. What's your name? What's your name? You did it. And he was like, whoa. And I'm like, you see how stupid you sound?
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm not going to hold you accountable for that. Why are you holding me accountable?
Up.
Like, let's have a chat. And then we shook hands with him. We chatted. And
he was like, oh, shit, you're right.
I'd never seen a more brainwashed people ever. But I
mean, have you been I
was pretty brainwashed too, though, at the time.
That's fair.
I was a Mormon Marine excited to go to the Middle East, right? Like, because I thought terrorists did 9/11. Yeah.
Yeah, we were brainwashed for sure. Yeah.
If anybody still thinks that, by the way,
you're pretty.
You're fucking dumb. Look in the camera.
That's the thing I always say. Instead of saying things like that, I'm just like, you're pretty.
You're so handsome.
You're so pretty.
Ugh.
Oh, I do it all the time to dudes. Yeah.
Like
they hate it.
There might have been terrorist elements that were involved and used as Ponzi's, but
it was your own government, folks.
Hey.
Shameless plug.
Yeah. So anyway, enough about me. Let's talk about you. So
your story is so much more interesting than mine.
No, that's
I can talk about this all day.
No, I want your opinions on stuff. So what I find interesting is that you came from a very similar background as mine with Christianity, like a strict Christian household, right?
Yeah.
I think Mormons, the strictness was probably equal, but the Mormons just do weirder stuff sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. And believe in
weirder things.
Different things. Yeah, I've learned that
Prettier
over the
things.
years.
Prettier things.
So pretty.
Yeah. But so what kind of led you to your belief system today? Maybe you could start by defining, like, this podcast is about finding your authentic self. And whenever I jive with somebody, it's usually because they've found, I don't think everybody finds every authentic piece of themselves. I don't think that's impossible.
I don't think it ever ends, yeah.
Mm-mm. But I think you've found a large portion of who you are.
I like to think so.
Yeah. And it's representative in like what you're doing. You're a business owner, like what you stand for. So we know your background. What would you say, who is Leah Roberts today? You can use any labels you want to prescribe to, or whatever you would define yourself as.
Gosh.
We don't do this exercise often.
To summarize, I guess I would say I'm just trying to be the best possible version of myself I can be. Best possible person I can be. I think that's all we can do.
What does that mean, though? Best version of you?
I just want to be a fucking good person. Right. You know, like I don't think that my life revolves around, I get a little bit controversial. I don't think my life revolves around like a God or anything. There's so many people who just like don't make their own decisions or don't take the leap because they want to just put their hands or their life in this being's hands that we have no evidence that exists, in my opinion.
Interesting.
And I would say I don't identify with a religion. I think, what is it called? When you see that, there's like little bits of truth that you see in everything. I think I probably practice closer to Buddhism. Yeah. But that's only because like even in Buddhism, you don't worship Buddha. Like he's just a figure that's like trying to help you find your way on your path. Yeah. And the whole point of Buddhism is to be the best possible version of yourself that you can be and attain nirvana, to attain your highest being of self. Right. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to like be the best possible version of me that I can.
Yeah, and if there's like a worship, from what I understand around Buddhism or other similar religions, if there's a worship or an offering or something, you're actually just asking a higher wisdom for guidance.
Mm-hmm. And often it's like that higher wisdom is believed to be already in you.
In you.
Yeah, because we're basically 100%. All our own gods.
We were just talking about this today.
I know she was like reacting.
Yeah, Mal's over there like, oh my gosh, this is just happening. Like we went to lunch with Mal's mom and we were talking about this very, very thing. Because like it's kind of, I think the purpose of life is to be here. And I think you have everything you need already. Mm-hmm. Like,
I think it's very pretty to think that things happen outside of like
outside of your control.
Yeah, it's cute. Just be like, everything is pre-planned for me. And this is like, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. Like, yeah, which, destiny. Yeah, some things are like, some things are fateable, like, but not, your entire life is not mapped out.
It's not written in stone anywhere.
No, the whole point of this, like you said, this whole point of this journey is to have the journey.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
Like for fuck's sake.
It's not really a destination. It's just
no, not really.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
So you said people that can't think for themselves and they haven't taken the leap. But the leap, some people, they define it as like entrepreneurship or like chasing
whatever
your dream.
That leap is for that person.
Yeah. What would you define it as? What was the leap for you?
I don't know, because I think that you almost have to take several hundred leaps in your life. I think every crossroads you're at is a leap.
What's like, well, I'm trying to pin it down. Is there a leap that's congruent with everybody? Or are they all individual? I think most of them are individual.
I was going to say individual as well. Yeah. Yeah.
But is there one that we all share in?
Maybe the leap of thinking for yourself. And
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, whether it's God or the government or whatever else, like
it's like taking accountability. For you.
Yeah. Like make your own decisions, form your own opinions, form your own thoughts. Stop letting people tell you what to believe or what to think because it's presented in a certain way. Doesn't mean you have to believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
For
fuck's sake.
For fuck's sake, y'all. For fuck's sake, folks.
For fuck's sake.
It's a buffet. It's a buffet.
It's a buffet of leaps.
Yeah. I think you should, there's morality. I think there's lines in the sand that we as society and people, and I think as spiritual beings, we know good and evil.
Yeah.
But
I know some people who don't believe in evil, that don't believe in, like, for lack of a better word, the devil.
Yeah. I agree.
There's 100% good and evil. I think it's silly. That's pretty.
I think there's positive and there's negative.
Yeah. Positive, fine. If you don't want to label it good and evil, there's positive and negative. Like,
I think devil and evil and good and bad, like those are labels.
Yeah.
But there's negative and positive, like at the very base core. Have you ever read a book called Outwitting the Devil?
No.
I
don't typically read nonfiction.
Oh, it's not.
Oh, it's not.
It's
it's a fiction book.
No, it's Oh, I'm sorry. You said nonfiction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it is nonfiction. Okay.
It's written by Napoleon
I don't read
Hill.
those.
But it is. You don't know if it's fiction or not because he is writing.
So it's kind of like The Alchemist, where it's like a little story, but it's like
a little bit. It's
there's truth.
He presents it as an interview with the devil.
Bumping my chin on this.
Oh yeah, you're good.
Interview with the devil.
It's an interview with the devil, but he never hints that it's hypothetical or not. And so you're like, is he really? Yeah. But he presents this thing. He's like, there's only positive and the devil is telling him there's only positive and negative. And whatever label you want, you could be serving a label that's labeled good, but you're still serving a negative energy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it was so controversial because he wrote it in the 1930s.
Dang.
And his family,
before his time.
Yeah, his family said not to publish it, so it didn't get published until the 80s because they didn't want the backlash.
Yeah,
because people
were like ashamed of it.
Yeah, they're gonna like outcast him. So anyway, but he talks about like how like education and religion are used to keep people in the negative. He said 98% of every human on the planet is under negative control, under the devil's influence.
The devil.
Yeah, right, and it's. Yeah, those only 2%. And the biggest thing that makes someone outside the devil's influence is a free-thinking person who can look at things, who doesn't subscribe to something and follow blindly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think those same people who put everything in God's hands are also the same people who blame all of their bad choices on the devil's influence.
That's exactly
instead
what
of
it
taking
is.
accountability. We all fuck up. We all make bad choices. Like, let's just own that shit.
Yeah.
I mean, you might be possessed if you're like a pedophile or something, but like,
Yeah, I think it's possible. I think there's entities.
Yeah, there's entities.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
But God, devil, I don't know.
And I think if you're, because like, what's funny is like religious people get possessed more than just random people.
Yeah, maybe they think they're worshiping God, but God is maybe it's reverse.
You want to hear
See what I'm
some
saying?
cool
You
theories?
just never fucking know.
Yeah, my theory is that all of Christendom, all of Christianity,
All of them.
has been misled.
Yeah.
What's the real name of Jesus Christ? Do you know it? As a non-denominational Christian.
I do feel like I know it, and I don't. Speaking of non-denominational, it's my mama.
Oh yeah. Should we get her on? You want to ask?
Oh, hell no.
Hey, mom, I'm on a podcast.
No.
But the real name of Christ is
Yeah,
Hebrew
you want to
name.
spread some light on Jesus?
Yeah. Hey, what's
Hello,
the
would
real
you like
name
to
of
talk about Jesus, your Lord and Savior, today?
Exactly. That'd be awesome. But yeah, the real name of Jesus is Yeshua. Excuse me, that's his Hebrew name.
Okay, I did know that.
Yeah.
It's been a minute, but yes.
Do you know what Christian belief is linked to a Christmas tree?
Christian? Aren't they all?
I mean, Christmas is a Christian holiday.
Yeah, well, I
right?
know. The whole Santa, Satan, Christmas. I don't know where the
yeah.
Christmas tree came from, but
It's pagan.
Oh.
Easter bunny. God, it's the Easter bunny is the holiday. Easter is a holiday of fertility in paganism.
Interesting.
And so the bunny is and eggs and fertility and
also
having sex.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah, Amen Ra.
The
Egyptian.
Egyptian.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Amen. Yep. That's one of the Egyptian
So many
pantheons.
crosses. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's the cross is like a variation of an an Egyptian ankh, which is like a
How you
cross
spell
with
that?
a loop. O-N-K.
Okay.
Ankh. But it's like a cross, but the top part is a loop.
Oh, I see. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
very Egyptian, but it's very
Yeah.
similar to a cross.
Yeah.
Also, a cross is like perfectly like symmetrical. It's for like
This shit just makes me grit my teeth.
yeah, it's like
we're the one true religion.
I know.
It's like
Yeah,
you have bastardized everying that everyone
it is.
and made it your own thing.
And
Don't even get me started on Joseph Smith.
Oh yeah, we'll save that for later probably.
That motherfucker.
Yeah, seriously. There's
I'm a Freemason.
there's good things in every religion,
Gosh.
but the blindness is what I can't accept any longer. So no religion is safe on this fucking show. So turn it off.
Oh, that's fucking show.
And this is authentic identity, right? So if you're listening to this and you don't want to be on my show and I've asked you to, don't be on my show because it's not authentic if you're on the show like this. This is what we talk about is being the most authentic version of yourself. And so with you, your leap that you brought up is critical thinking, basically, like thinking for yourself.
Yeah, that's one of the leaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it's like probably the most important, or is there something prior that you wished you would have made the leap into, or was that kind of the first one that toppled the dominoes?
I don't know. Honestly, probably the first one was, gosh, I don't know. I don't even know if this would be considered a leap. I just feel like for me, it all started when I graduated and moved out a week later. Did not hesitate. No
Gone.
job, no money. I was fucking out of there.
No plan, or did you have a place?
I had a place and I had a job coming. I just hadn't even started yet.
Nice.
But I think that was a big leap for me. This is a whole other topic, but I have a major fear of entrapment. Like it's a fucking problem.
Ooh.
There's big trauma behind that because of that regime that I lived in.
Yes.
So I could not wait to have freedom. Like I was salivating at the mouth
Do you
to
know
be free.
how you got entrapped? Like, I mean, obviously you were a rambunctious youth.
Yeah. And
Right.
but it was all before that. Like even when I was a kid, I would always have, I know now what this means, but when I was a kid, I was always having these nightmares about this like big, disgusting man always like chasing me and suffocating me. And like I don't recall if he did anything in that sense, you know? So
Because it was a dream.
yeah, it was a dream. Yeah. So it's like very vague for me now as an adult, but I know now that I was having these nightmares all through that time that mom was married to that man. And like the second we left, never had those nightmares again.
So you're not sure, you don't think there was anything like abusive sexually or anything like that?
From the man in the dream?
Yeah, or in that time frame.
The energy was there in the dream. In that time frame, yes. So yeah, he was physically, mentally, sexually abusive, that stepdad.
Oh, really?
And it was also a regime. So it was just like, there was no getting out. I was fucking trapped. And it was suffocating.
This is what is in that book. I think you'd like this book.
The devil?
Outwitting the Devil.
Yeah, okay.
Because he talks about those people that are in religion that are actually servants of the devil.
Oh.
And so if you're having this subconscious dream.
He's an evil man for sure.
Yeah, it's just in the guise. It's labeled good, right? It looks good. It's great. It's outwardly appearing. It's so righteous. It's so,
Yeah. It was weird
celebratory.
Too. Like my mom told me on her wedding night, there was a family friend who came to her on her wedding night, like the day of the wedding. It was at night. That's why I said it like that. But I can't remember the details, but it was a family friend who came to my mom and said that, I don't know if she had a dream or she prayed on it or God gave her like a divine message, something. She went to my mom and said like that basically she had been spoken to and she should not marry this man because he is not the person you think he is.
Yeah. Like a wolf in sheep's
that is
clothing.
so crazy. Because I'm like, I mean, she said it was God, right? Who knows what the actual like being, maybe it was just intuition because she could feel his energy and none of the rest of us could.
Yeah.
I mean, me and my brother were kids, so obviously we didn't really love the idea, but like, obviously you don't have say in it, but.
That's so interesting.
It's so weird, yeah.
Well, I'm sorry that you had that sort of oppression.
Yeah, oppression's a good word, yeah. I always just say regime, but that's basically like what major fear of entrapment. So yeah, graduated a week after, moved out a week after I graduated,
Did that leave a lot of like just mistrust like in men in general, or was it like
it's almost like it went opposite where it was like I was like sexually fucked up for a while, that's a whole other obviously deep topic, but yeah, it was. I don't know, how deep do you want me to get in that? I guess
whatever.
That's the question.
It's your story. So, however, we've unpacked some crazy stuff on this show, but
I don't know how deep to get in that, but yeah,
you don't have to get explicit, but like
let's just say it wasn't just my stepdad who was sexually who sexually misdid me.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm trying to not say the R word, but
yeah,
we'll just anyway. So I was sexually fucked up for a minute. Like I got free, and I kind of went wild with like all the drinking and just like being a free adult for the first time in my life.
Yeah,
and so many different partners with no meaning.
Right,
always made the bad choices. Some of them were bad choices and did things that they shouldn't have. I put myself in those positions because I had this trauma that I didn't know that I had that I needed to deal with.
Right.
So, I'll get a little bit detailed with this too.
Go ahead.
It's so weird to say this word on a podcast, but I did not know how to orgasm. Couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Physically unable, never could do it until my current relationship because I never felt in like a safe enough place to be able to do that. Yeah.
Wow. Well,
to share the vulnerability.
It's sad. It's so sad. And I have friends now who still like haven't had an orgasm during sex, and it like that should not be happening. It's so sad. And there's so many, I don't even know. It's not like there's a rule, like a worksheet on how to fix yourself, right? Like you just have to, I don't know, just work through it. Take all those little leaps that you need to do for yourself to find yourself, deal with the trauma.
Well, how
work
could
through
you?
The trauma.
How could you ever connect with someone emotionally when it was just pure like chaos and like abuse and trauma or you never were safe at any moment, right? Like not so much, maybe you were safe from like physical, like you weren't running from a bear right? Like, you weren't in a war zone.
Yeah.
And you weren't like in an oppressed nation with no food. So like people, please understand, like the first world is just as fucked up as the third world. It's just
in a different way
with microwaves and electricity. Okay. Like there's differences, right? Like lacking food and convenience does not mean like
struggle doesn't exist.
Struggle doesn't. Yeah, just because we have our basic needs met doesn't mean. It usually means there's more fucked up shit. And that's coming from my personal experience as well. In the line of work I was in as a contractor and what I did with the military, like fucked up shit is a human condition. I don't care what level of convenience you have. So if anybody wants to bitch about first world problems, please comment below and like and subscribe and share so you can comment more about your pretty opinions. So yeah, just to get that out of the way, so there's no fear of retribution, because some people, like, I don't know, in a first world country, everybody's like has to compare each other how good they got it. If you know, it's like,
or like compare traumas and stuff, and it's like
who's the bigger victim? Who's had it harder? Because we have it so easy.
That word,
victim. Yeah, I like how you haven't alluded to that yet.
I don't.
Right.
I never did. I never did.
It's not part of your thing.
No. It was more like, that shit happened. Okay. I'm going to deal with it. I'm going to like do my own work to get past it. And another thing growing up too is like because it was all in God's hands, you don't work on yourself. There's no like self-work. There's no self-love.
Yeah.
If you love yourself,
you're putting yourself above God.
Yes.
It's not allowed.
Yeah, it's not allowed. You can't. I was oppressed in a different way, even just from my mom's side of things too, where I'm like, I couldn't. Same with the Mormon thing. It's very similar. Like you can't wear certain things. You can't feel certain things about yourself.
So aside from the other types of abuse you experienced, like that in and of itself was kind of the foundation. That was like
kind of emotional.
Just like
side.
you can't. Yeah. Fill in the blank.
Can't. Yeah. And that's been a big roadblock for me that I was dealing. I think that was almost a bigger part than the abuse, to figuring out how to be sexually open with a partner.
Yeah.
Because I just could not like myself.
Yeah.
I was not like, and every time, this is also super detailed, but like I couldn't look myself in the mirror. Still kind of hate it. I'm working on it. This is potential edit.
Yeah.
Hate my nipples being touched. I fucking hate it. It gives me this sick, sinking black feeling. I like don't even know how to describe it. It's like making me emotional just talking about it. Like I could not touch myself, and I couldn't let other people touch me in that way. It just made me so sick to my stomach because I was so drilled into that was so not bad. Okay.
Well, let me potential edit this out, but because I hope this isn't crossing lines. But when I'm
very
younger,
open, quite honestly, but I just don't want my mama to hear this. Yeah, okay, that's the only why I'm saying potential edit, because she's like the only person I would never want to hear this.
Because I've heard from
my dad talking about my nipples. Like, come on, Dad, don't listen to this.
yeah. Okay, so we'll edit this out for sure.
Maybe they didn't listen to the last ones, so they probably won't. We probably are good. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Chalk it up for the win.
So ask away.
Okay, so I'm curious because the line of work I was in and people I've interviewed and people that I've talked to, especially females, it seems to me that younger girls that develop quicker, they develop breasts and that, they maybe hit puberty quicker.
No, and that was me.
Okay, that was my question, is if that was you, because it seems to me that that's where more abuse victims come from, or they're targeted.
I mean, that makes sense. Yeah, they're developed early. They look more like a woman. Yeah, early on. Yeah,
I mean, like in the 1800s, even just like 100 plus years ago, like let's say 130 years ago, like when the country didn't have an age limit or a law of adulthood like we do at 18. Like when a woman,
they were selling their children off at 12 to get married.
Yeah, as soon as a girl was bleeding, as soon as she had her menstruation, like she was fit for childbearing.
Yeah,
and like who are we to like
so fucked?
Who are we to say? I think that's fucked up, but like those cultures at the time,
that was the norm.
Where
it wasn't
like
even questioned.
A baby would die though, like like 50-50.
Yeah, baby dies, 50-50.
Right? And people live to like 40, maybe.
Yeah.
And so it was like kind of important
Pregnant
to rear
women
children
drank
more.
whiskey and smoked cigarettes. Let's fucking go. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, right? Like, and back in like the more, savage times where there was more wars and pillaging and stuff like that, like people just died a lot more frequently. So it was very important. So that age of maturity, I think, to them was like a good line in the sand. But to us, we're like, oh, that's repulsive. Because we equate that with such innocence, right? And so, I'm not going to go judge a whole 1,000 years worth of billions of people that lived that way, in a different era. But from our measuring stick, we're like, yeah, that's a little weird.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think that's why a lot of girls fall victim like that, is because they develop quickly.
Yeah.
And then you have these wolves in sheep clothing, right? And sheep, if you're amongst sheep are pretty. They're pretty.
Yeah.
They're pretty.
They're pretty.
They're dumb
You're
as fuck.
so pretty.
That's
I
what
gotta say
means.
it's sarcastic every time.
Yeah.
You're so pretty.
You're so handsome.
You're so
I'm going to say
pretty.
handsome. You can say pretty. You're so handsome. But anyway, if you're amongst sheep and people can take advantage of that, I think a lot of, side note as well, right? A lot of Mormons actually work for the government. They work for the State Department. One of the biggest concentrations of LDS Mormon people outside of Utah is Washington, D.C., and they all work for the State Department because no identifying tattoos. They speak a second language. They're pretty intelligent, hard workers, and then they have a religion that they worship without question, and so it's really easy to give them the God and country speech, and they're very manipulative. I'm speaking from experience. So anyway.
Yep. Easily manipulated and master manipulators.
Yeah. And then naive to everything else. So it's a very, this is why I'm so against religions. This is why I'm so against people that don't think.
Yeah.
I'm like vehemently, is that a word?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm vehemently against it. Like I have like reactions against it, like allergic reactions. Like I can only be around my family.
I start to swell.
So long. I can only hold my tongue so long.
My ears itch.
Yeah. I got stung by a bee. I'm just like there's someone with a religion around me.
I can feel it.
I can feel it.
They're in the vicinity.
The spirit is telling me.
The spirit is telling me.
We're getting wild on this one, Leah. Cheers.
Yeah,
again.
cheers. You know what?
Cheers to your leap. Okay.
Yeah.
Cheers to you sharing that. So like how you don't seem, was it always like this? You don't seem very affected. You're affected by this. You're just talking about it almost whimsically.
Yeah.
Is that a defense mechanism?
Yeah, Cody actually said the same thing, and it probably is. Like, it's
a little bit of a defense mechanism, maybe.
Yeah, and honestly, like as an early adult, when I thought about all these things, I didn't cry about any of it. I don't know if that's just like, we weren't also not a very emotional family. We didn't hug. We didn't say I love you. Emotions weren't. So I don't know if I just process them in a different way, which is ironic because I cry at everything now. Like commercials, like little like old people or like dog commercials, or like when I went to Hawaii and we saw dolphins and turtles and I fucking cried because they were so majestic.
You and I are the same.
I'm like, how can you be like such a hard ass, but then also be such a softie at the same time? I don't get it. Well, I don't know. I've just kind of always been that way. I've never I don't know, never felt like I needed to tell everyone about it or bawl about it or like it's that victim word again. Yeah. Like I guess victimize myself.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is. Like I don't want to define who I am based on that.
Nice.
I think that all of those things just made me so much stronger. But I don't know, it could be a defense thing where I'm just like, just willy-nilly.
Oh yeah, it's a joke.
Talk about it and like I smile about it. Maybe it probably is a defense thing because you're not the first person to comment on that.
Yeah.
But
I mean, slightly. I think it's okay to put your defenses up. Like, let's be clear here. A lot of people, they talk about defenses going up. I think there's a time and place where defenses can be bad, right? Like when Mal and I are having an emotional argument and my defenses come up, that's where my defenses need to go down. If I'm going to change the outcome or we're going to slink back into patterns that have been there my whole life or her whole life, right? Like, So there's a time and place for defenses, but I think it's okay to have your defenses up, right?
Yeah.
Because you still got to get up. You still got to make shit happen. You got to run your business. You got to hit the gym. You got to do stuff. So
yeah,
it's just, it's nice to have a place where your defenses can be down as well. So I commend you for having defenses up. You should, because there's a lot of things to defend against in this life.
Yeah.
But knowing how to turn that off and on and whom to share that with is, I feel honored that you shared that story. Is that, you didn't share that on Cody's podcast? Not to that detail.
Not to that detail, no. I think I shared more of my stepdad side of things, not so much like the mom side of things and like the trauma that came from that. Yeah. But
so what was that
taking
like?
leaps.
So you took the leap. When did you start like really thinking for yourself? You had like 15 years old. You suddenly had more freedom because a certain influence left your life.
I think I like that word because I think some influences can help you see and take those leaps. It was probably like a few years before I met Ty. So we've been together for 5 years now.
Okay, cool.
It's probably a few years before I met Ty is that I kind of started noticing these things about myself and like finally became a little bit more self-aware, started embracing my sexuality a little bit more.
Yeah.
So that's when I also started meditating and starting yoga. So I think that was part of it. Like I just very lightly started meditating, doing yoga, and maybe that just opened that pineal gland for me to find those things and start working on them.
It's funny that you actually looked, I think what happens to a lot of people is they experience trauma or like something like similar to what you have or like a really kind of restrictive lifestyle. And if they don't wake up or take a leap or they just stay where they're at, they kind of look outward for answers rather than doing internal work, which all of those things,
I have
meditation,
always
yoga,
done it internally. Like I said, we didn't emote. We didn't talk about things.
So how did you
always handle things internally?
Yeah.
That's just how I do things, I guess.
That's okay. Well, when did that happen? Like, have always your whole life you've handled internally? You've kind of, because you didn't have any other options?
Yeah. I don't feel like I ever really, I feel like a lot of people have that type of relationship with one of their parents, at least. Usually there's a parent or like even a sibling that you can just fully open up to. I didn't have that. I was never fully transparent with my parents or anybody.
So it's just you
really around me. Yeah. And I had all those siblings. Like I was super tight with my stepsister, but I don't know. We didn't really talk about
that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Deep stuff. We were like play.
Yeah.
We were friends basically.
I like that.
So I don't know. Yeah. I just kind of always.
Was it kind of like instinctual then? You just were like,
I guess so. Yeah.
I'm just going to
never thought about that.
Internally. Yeah. Like I'm wondering when that was, because I was taught my whole life, and this was a big conversation we had at lunch today with Mal and her mom, but like everything was an external problem, because what the Mormon church does and what a lot of religions do is they take that internalness, like your own divinity, your own spirituality, and you as like a spiritual being, they take it and they push it as far away from you as possible.
They give it to God.
They give it to God.
And they don't think about it.
Yeah, it's out of you.
Yeah. You would think that because I was raised that way, maybe I would have been like, oh, I need to go to church or like pray or
I need to go speak to a pastor or a bishop and
never
absolve myself from the guilt.
Never crossed my mind to do that.
That's interesting.
Never.
So
I didn't even, like I said, I didn't even start meditating or doing yoga until a few years before so that was like 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah. So how old are you now?
28.
28. Okay. So like partied like in your late teens up until like, when did you start changing? Like what year was that when you were like pulling back? Was there like an external, was there an external influence that kind of pulled you up, or did you did it all internally?
So probably like 22 or 23.
You started letting off the gas. You're like,
yeah, it was more like, it really was like I went to yoga with a friend and I fell in love with yoga.
So maybe it was yoga.
It was yoga. Honestly, I think it was.
An Eastern practice, an Eastern religion.
And that comes with meditating in that practice. So I think I just kind of took that. And then around that time, I think I also was around the time where I went vegetarian. Nice. I might have gone vegan at that time too. It was a big big life changes there.
Yeah.
And then, I just was doing that for a couple years, and then really got to a point where I finally understood myself and liked myself. And I was to a point at that. So this is like right around before I met Ty. I was at a point probably a year before I met Ty where I finally was like, okay, I feel like I know who I am and I'm happy with who I am and the progress I'm making. So now I'm ready to find a life partner. Like I was kind of just, like I said, I had those like...
You just felt right. I'm going to connect with somebody.
Yeah, I was like, I'm done doing like all of this random sexual things that don't mean anything to me.
Partying for no reason.
Partying for no reason. I was like, I'm ready to, I know myself now.
Yeah.
I'm still working on myself because like we talked about, project never ends.
Yes.
But I was to a point where I'm like, okay, I'm ready. And I actually took a year off. I took 10 months. It was not quite a year. It was 10 months. No dating, no sexual activity whatsoever. And it was actually a friend at that time who recommended I do like just a couple months or something. I'm no longer friends with this person. I will credit her for that. But so I took 10 months, no dating. And in that time period is when I was meditating. I did all the yoga. I found myself. You worked on my own shit.
Vegan at this point, right? Or were you still vegetarian?
Yep. I believe I was vegan at that point. Yeah. Because this was a year before I met Ty. So I was a couple years into being vegan already.
Nice.
So worked on myself enough at that point, found I was ready for someone who could, I've never been codependent either. I always deal with things internally. So I'm like, I needed someone who wanted to build with
something.
me
God.
Not someone who's going to like, I'm going to carry them or they're going to carry me. Cause that was all, it was before. It was like
dead weight.
Yeah. Dead weight. I was just carrying people, or most people weren't carrying me,
leeches.
Let's be honest. But
yeah.
Leeches, yeah. So I was like, man, I really just want someone who I can build with. And I was also volunteering at a rescue at this time. This is all in that same year. I was just doing a bunch. I've never thought about, honestly, putting all those things together. But I was doing a lot of volunteer work at the local animal shelter. I had yoga, meditation, took my 10 months, no dating.
So to translate,
that was a huge ass leap.
You were doing the work.
Yeah, I was
on yourself.
doing the work.
Right.
22,
that's so cool.
23.
Right.
I think. I was probably 22.
22 years old.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I think that makes sense. So then, because I think I met Ty when I was 23.
Nice. And you guys have been together years? How long?
What's 8 minus 3?
Yeah,
8,
5.
7, 6, 5. Okay.
5 years. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So 23 then is when I met Ty through the animal rescue. His sister volunteered with me.
Oh, cool.
And she was like, she never said anything to me, but I guess she said something. I know this story now, but she said something to him like, oh, there's this super cute little vegan girl. And he's also vegan. There's this cute little vegan girl that volunteers. Like, I feel like you guys would really hit it off. And I didn't even know her really. We just only talked like in passing. So he messaged me a few times on Instagram, and like Ty's a very kind of private, I guess, person.
Sure.
Antisocial, private type of person. So he doesn't have pictures of himself on Instagram. So I didn't give him the time of day, really. I was just like, we kind of like chatted a little bit or like commented on each other's stuff. Yeah, there was nothing really there. And then I guess I took another leap because it was like maybe a month later. We were doing a cat yoga event at the rescue. And I was like, hey, you should come. And he showed up. And I shit you not, it was love at first sight, seriously. Because I was like, oh my God. I was like, I did not think this man was going to look like that.
Yeah. That's why fellas just put one picture
just
up.
Just one picture. And also it's got to be a good picture because, no offense, dudes take horrible photos.
Yeah. Yeah. Not you like with a KTM motocross.
Yeah. Or like holding up a fucking fish. Like, what is that? They always hold up fish.
Yeah. It's whatever their hobby is, you know.
The fish pictures.
Mine is just like I'm holding up like Pokemon cards. I'm like,
yeah, that would be pretty bad too, quite honestly.
I'm a closet
just
nerd.
One good picture, but I don't know if he would have had like even a decent picture. Who knows what it would have turned out to be? But I think the fact that he didn't, and then
you weren't expecting anything.
Leap. No, we weren't even really talking at that time either. I was just like,
you should come.
I was like, man, I just had a feeling, and I was like, you should just come to cat yoga and just see what's up. And then he showed up.
That's funny.
And we fell in love.
That's so cool. And you guys have been together 5 years now.
5 years now. We live together.
Yeah.
We've got 3 dogs, 4 cats.
Nice.
5 of those.
The fur children.
5 of the 7 are mine.
We have 1 here.
2 are his.
That's awesome. That's how Mal and I, 5 years and some change now, right, Mal? We've been together 5 years. But very similar. I wanted someone to build with too. So I was sick of the dead weight, the leeches. I think I was a leech in some ways, and
yeah, we probably all are
at certain, a little bit. Yeah, you just don't jive with people sometimes. But
I thought too that like the work was, I didn't think the work was done, right? But I was like, oh man, I'm like in a really good place. And then a whole other set of trauma came with being in a relationship, and that's when I started to identify that fear of entrapment because I didn't know it was there before.
Oh yeah.
So also translate to fear of commitment, where I was like in this and
because commitment can lead to entrapment.
Yeah, I felt trapped.
That's what it is.
Yeah. The first year of our relationship was really hard. We moved in together after 2 months, and there was no like big thing. It was just that like I was dealing with this trauma that I didn't know that this leftover thing that I didn't know I had. So like a year and a half in where I'm just like self-sabotaging and like constantly trying to like question things and trying to leave him, but also not wanting to leave him because I just felt like it was going to be a huge mistake. And like, it was crazy. Yeah. I had to deal with that then. So 2 years in, I had to deal with this whole thing. And I tried doing therapy. It didn't work for me because I discovered that internal work was far better for me. And that's actually when I decided to take the leap and do my yoga teacher training. I was going to yoga all the time. That was my safe spot.
Yeah.
Every time I felt conflicted or I felt trapped, I just went to yoga. And so then that just kind of became my thing. And then I was like, I'm going to do this teacher training. I couldn't afford it. It was like almost $3,000.
Wow.
Did not have the money. I was like, I'm just going to find this money. And Ty was like, we can't afford this. I'm like, I'm going to find the money. I have to find the money. Like, I know that this is right for me and I have to do it. And that was like a huge big leap for me too. Cause tons of work I did in that. I did a retreat in that time period, like so much breath work and meditation. And yeah, just, it was transformational, honestly.
Yeah. What do you think? What does that do in meditative? So like I'm pulling out a couple like bullet points because people can follow this journey that you did in their own way. Because it sounds like you got a form of exercise that was very meditative.
Yeah.
From the get-go. You took a break from chasing this like relationship dopamine, like an addict looking for validation in other people that you wouldn't find.
Also, I took a social media break as well.
Social media break. That's
one more thing I just thought of. That first year and a half that Ty and I were together, that was 2020.
Yeah, okay.
So it was added on to the pile.
Yeah.
Swinging the dick.
Yeah, swinging its invisible winger out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's great.
I was like, oh, that's a key point, too.
Yeah, so you kind of hunkered down.
That was a rough year and a half.
You kind of hunkered on down. You just focused on yourself, really. So you did that. And then also, how important was your diet? You talked about your pineal gland.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can, let's dive into veganism a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I'm on the carnivore diet.
Yeah.
Been doing it for a year plus.
Yeah.
I'm down like 40 pounds.
That's tough.
I've been kind of on and off lately because Mal's got a sweet tooth. So
that's
No, we medicate ourselves with dopamine. So we're like, it's been a rough week. We're just drained emotionally. We're like, let's get some ice cream or let's get some whatever. And so we use it.
Treat yourself every now and then.
Yeah, we want to live. Like I still enjoy food, but 80% of my diet, 90% of my diet is just red meat. That's it. And I used to like debate vegans or whatever, or vegetarians, but I'm kind of over that because I think the most important thing is that you're getting away from the fucking poison.
Yeah. I think nobody, separate words, nobody is built the same way. So true. Some people, seriously, veganism does not work for, and that's okay. Because there's people who cannot do the carnivore diet. Exactly. It's not okay. Like their bodies just can't do it. Physically do it. And we're all built so differently.
Even like your palate, just can't. You got to have a variety. Mal can't do it. She does it with me for the most part, but she's got to have a wider variety of food.
Yeah.
And for me, I could eat the same thing every day, all the time. I don't care. I don't know. It was a blessing in the military. I just didn't care. I'm like, they're like, you don't like that MRE? And I'm like, I just don't fucking care. It's all the same.
I can kind of do that now.
Yeah. I want to eat good things because of the dopamine, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, if it's simple, if I don't have anybody else giving me these little little sneaky ideas to go get a little sandwich somewhere, or to go get a little bit of an ice cream cone treat. You know,
Yep.
like, that's how Mal
We'll go
does
get
it.
some nachos.
This is how she does it. Like, can we get a treat?
I do the same shit. That's why I brought my Ollipops. I'm like, can we go get Ollipops?
And so
my Ollipops.
when a pretty girl asks you for a good time, I'm like, all right, I guess we're gonna go.
Oh my god.
So, but yeah, so like everybody has a different like kind of like a diet, right?
Yeah.
And I think it has a lot to do with like your genetics, your heritage. Oh, that's basically the same thing. But
getting away from the poison.
yeah, getting away from the poison is probably the
Honestly,
most. That's
don't
the same
fucking
vein.
eat McDonald's.
Yeah.
That's all I'm
Yeah,
saying.
and then also like, how strict have you been? Is this a new thing? Have you always done this? But like, are you using like what other products like skincare? Like, it's just poisoning women, right? Like,
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah.
Huge hormone disruptor.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then like aluminum and stuff. I think aluminum, fluoride,
Aluminum.
aluminum. Hello, boss, aluminum. That's so funny. I love Chinese accents. They're hilarious.
I just love accents, man.
Yeah, they're so good.
I'm like, damn, I wish I had an accent. I
don't
went
know
to North Carolina once and they were like, what's your accent? I'm like, what? You guys have the accent. I just have like a plain ass American accent.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
I speak
There's
high
nothing
English.
Here.
I speak high English. Yeah, seriously, it's
high class.
dialects are funny. And when did accents become racist? By the way,
I know.
who the fuck is judging this stuff? Who's out there like determining? They're like with the
Hey,
gavel, they're like,
there's people who out there. What is the word I'm looking for? Cultural appropriation. That's the word. Yeah, there's people who like yoga teachers who won't even say namaste anymore because it's cultural appropriation. I'm like, the whole goddamn practice is cultural appropriation
Yeah.
if you're gonna go that far.
You know, we should go to other countries and freaking bash their TVs in,
Like,
because that's
fuck.
our culture.
Well, it's like, do you want to live in a world without culture? You won't have any of this amazing like artwork and this music and this food, the fucking food, guys. Like, how could you ever live without cultural
is meant
food?
to be appropriated, homies.
You want to just eat a plain potato?
Yeah, I think
like,
samurais
No
are
butter
so
and no
cool.
salt? Like, what do you mean? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, exactly.
Why are we? Anyway.
Yeah. If you're Irish, you can only eat potatoes.
Yeah.
If you're German,
In
you
broth.
can only eat schnitzel.
Schnitzel.
If you eat a pizza, you're fucking appropriating Italian culture, you fucking pig.
Yep. You like tacos? Too fucking bad, bitch.
Yeah.
Taco
You
Tuesday's
racist?
gone. No more Taco Tuesday for your ass.
Like, where does the ridiculousness stop?
You like
folks?
margaritas? You're fucking racist.
Yeah. Yep. You like fireworks? The Chinese invented those. Those aren't yours, you piece of shit. Yeah.
God
And everybody
damn.
else in every other country out there using a TV, those are ours.
Yeah, we invented
That's
those.
American
Actually,
culture.
that's cultural appropriation.
You're appropriating my culture if you like
burgers.
American
You like
pop
burgers?
culture.
Well,
Yeah.
fuck it. You guys can't have it. That's ours.
You like 80s music like Duran Duran?
Duran
Fuck you.
Duran.
Give me back my culture. If you listen to rap music and you're white, you're fucking racist.
You're racist.
I hate this. I'm like cringing at my own remarks.
I
And
know.
they're satirical.
It's satire.
Yeah. So anyway,
You guys are so
great
crazy.
tangent.
I love it.
I love it.
That was a good one.
So veganism though, like
Yeah.
what was you were just like woke up, your head just like I picture everybody that is vegan, they're just like they wake up and they're like
Have you seen?
I need to be vegan.
What is it? Scott Pilgrim.
Versus the world. Yeah.
It's like, I'm vegan.
Yeah.
His like superpowers.
That's like his stat block
Yeah.
is based off of veganism.
It's like, you didn't know Todd's
Yeah.
vegan.
Yeah. Oh no, he's extra powers.
Oh fuck.
So what was that
do
like?
that.
You started out vegetarian, it sounded
Yeah. So actually, when I was a teenager, I didn't even like eating meat. So at one point as a teenager, my dad hated this, but I stopped eating pork as a teenager.
Mhm.
Just because I knew it was like the filthiest meat. Like I just really wanted nothing to do with it. It was just, it's dirty.
Yeah.
And I didn't like it anyway. I just didn't really love meat. I never loved it.
Yeah.
So then fast forward a little bit to adulthood. I think I went vegetarian probably when I was 19.
Mhm.
And again, it was just really because I wasn't even eating meat that often anyway. Like it's just we have this thing in our minds where like, yes, like you can picture the plate, right? The health plate. And you got your grain and your greens and your protein. So we just always think that we've got to have like a chicken or a steak on something or else it's just not complete.
Yeah.
But there's other forms of protein. Obviously, I wouldn't be alive if there wasn't, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, also, too, to say this, too, for those of you who can't see below the table, Leah is not like, you're very fit, but you're curvy. For a vegan, I've seen a lot of vegans very pale and gaunt.
Sickly looking with the big old bags under their eyes.
Yeah, I think some people are like forcing their own veganism and they're like not getting the nourishment they need because it's not.
I think you have to recognize at some point
with their gut.
That goes into
something.
The critical thinking.
Exactly.
And your self-awareness. You got to know what is right for you.
No, you're very healthy looking, so you don't have that like gauntness. You don't have like discoloration.
Yeah,
like,
I like to think I don't.
Yeah, you don't. Now, does she have that? No. No, you literally, you have like a healthy glow about you, which I've seen vegans that don't have that. I've seen people that they're not like carnivore, strict like I have been for a while, but like I've seen people that eat meat that are just as gaunt and like or overweight.
It's just malnutrition.
Yeah.
In general. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. I was vegetarian for a year and I was like, oh, this is fine. But I just felt like at that point I was mostly just eating dairy. Like I wasn't even eating vegetables that much. I was just eating dairy and I was actually kind of getting fat. So I was like, okay, I'm actually just going to pull the trigger and just go full vegan. And I did it overnight. Big mistake. Don't do that at home. I tried to go overnight. And the next day I went to the store and I bought, this also, don't try this at home. I went and I bought all the vegan alternatives.
Nice.
When I had just stopped eating dairy. So I knew what it still tasted like. And to go from knowing what it tastes like to the alternative. And also like you're not going to whole food. You're going to more processed bullshit.
Yeah.
Just don't do it that way. That's all I'll say. But yeah,
like,
so then I quit like basically that night and I was like,
damn,
this sucks. Like this stuff is nasty. I don't like it. And my cousin, who was my roommate at the time, she's like, bitch, you gave it not even a day. Like try harder. I was like, shit. Okay. So I did it again the next day.
You stuck with it.
And I stuck with it.
When did you start enjoying it?
The processed shit or the vegan?
The vegan stuff, yeah.
I don't know that I ever didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
I think it's just it's a big learning curve because then at that point, like you have to finally start looking at every single thing you're eating. Like you have to check every single label. Now it's just second nature.
Yeah.
But at the time, it's just really hard to start. It's super hard to start, but yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same about like carnivore. It's very simple process wise. Like I just got to find a good source of red meat. That's all.
Yeah.
But it's more like expensive. But
and
then,
you probably started like doing more of the better meats and like the grass fed and the organic and like things like that. Yeah. And when I first went vegan, that wasn't on my radar. I was more like, I just need to.
If it had the label, you bought it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when I kind of started getting that way, I was eating a little more whole foods, but I was kind of like a junk food vegan at first. And then when I met Ty, because he went vegan for health first and then for the animals, I went for the animals and then health. So it wasn't really on my radar. And he's kind of the one that helped me like develop it into more of like a health thing. And then I just got really passionate about it.
That's cool.
From there.
So I think as like a general rule of thumb, I think it's easier to make a lot of mistakes in the vegan realm because there's so many options. And I think there's just
you're going to make the same mistakes as a vegan as you do in your regular ass diet. Like it's, you can be a junk food. You can be a fat vegan. I've seen it.
You can
like
be
you can be a junk
vegan.
food. Yeah. They make lab grown meat. That's not technically meat, but it's like like Beyond and Impossible Burgers. I don't touch that shit.
And that's what's
absolutely not.
I think that was what sold me on. I knew I needed to get rid of the poison. Yeah. I'm like, I'm dying over here. I'm getting fatter. My joints are suffering.
You
my
feel gross,
gut
your
health.
Back hurts.
Gut everything. And then I have a bunch
hormones.
of nerve damage from the military. Then I find out that that's like all a response. It's an injury, but it's getting flared up by inflammatory responses. And then like gluten, joint pain, gout, like almost everything is an inflammatory response to something in the body, right? So you start listening to this stuff. And I think there's two forks in the road. And I think carnivore is simpler. Like you can't really make a mistake. It's like just get good beef and eat it. Like cool. Done.
Easy. But flip that steak.
Yeah, I would mix it up. I'd get some like raw honey or some some raw milk.
As
That's
you should.
all. That's all like Bear Grylls. If you know who Bear Grylls is, the British survival show guy.
No, I don't know who that is.
Bear Grylls is his name, but he does like all these survival shows. But he was vegan for like 5 years, wrote a book on it, and then he switched to carnivore.
Man,
Because
polar opposite.
and so people were like, this vegan was giving him a hard time. He's like, you don't know anything about
Maybe I have heard about.
And
Was he on a couple podcasts? Probably.
I'm sure he's been on a ton, but he's
Maybe I know who that is.
yeah, he's been interviewed like on his TV shows and stuff. But he's talking. Him and this guy are hiking up a mountain. I just remember the clip because they're hiking up a mountain, and he's talking about his diet, how he eats raw red meat and then like honey, and he's like, I eat 1 steak a day. Oh hey, bud,
You just stop.
you want some attention? Whiskey break. Hold up, I got to refill.
Whiskey break.
But yeah, he's just walking up a mountain talking about his diet, about how he eats raw honey and raw milk, and he has a steak and he loves it, and he'll eat like some cheese that's like aged. So that was kind of my inspiration for my diet. It sounded delicious when he said it. My mouth is still watering right now just thinking about it.
Oh yeah, you should.
Yeah.
Oh, the raw cheese and like
Yes.
the raw. Oh yeah, you should 100% go that route.
But what I've noticed, and,
If I ate it again, I would go the raw route.
You think so?
Yeah, if I did,
Yeah, you'd go.
100%
Do you think you'd
would have to be raw.
swing? Like if
that'd
if
be
you
local and raw.
Did, yeah, you'd swing into like a more carnivore-esque diet if you did swing into something.
If I did, which
Because
doubt it. I even have vegan tattooed on me, so it's probably never gonna like. It's a 99.9%. I will never go back, but like that 0.1%, I would go local and raw. Even now, I try to go local and raw as much as I can.
The people that try it, carnivore or veganism, if it doesn't work for them, they usually switch to the other and it works. But if it's working for you, stick with it, stay with it. But I've never seen anybody on the carnivore diet that if it was working for their body type, if they're on the carnivore diet, they look as good as you look. They look fit. They have color. They tan better. They're just better humans. I'm just kidding. No, they look healthy. When somebody's healthy, you can tell, right?
Yeah.
And so if veganism or carnivore or whatever diet, if it's working for you and you're getting the results, like just stick there. But I think the one common denominator is like you got rid of the bullshit.
Mm-hmm. The bullshit is where, yeah. And I would say it sounds like you're already this way too. Like people always ask me, like, does it bug you if people eat meat? I'm like, I don't give a shit. But I feel like you should give a shit in the sense of like just making sure that your meat is harvested well. Yeah, because you can still take in all of those antibiotics.
Oh my God.
It's the poisons. Like,
and even if you go to a
still
restaurant,
in your meat.
I always ask now because like we went to I don't want to defame this restaurant, but if you know, there's a place in St. George. It's not a bad restaurant. It's a sports bar. And I got a steak from there and I took one bite and I was like, I'm not going to eat this. I was literally seeing
I'm so
like,
curious what this is.
It was a Cisco, Cisco Food Systems or whatever.
Okay.
They just sell
So it was a
food
chain.
products, right? It's a chain restaurant. So they buy from Cisco. And I always have this joke, like if I'm ever going to like eat carbs, which is not part of the carnivore diet, like that 20% that I do indulge in, we're at this restaurant and I'm like, I got the tater tots with as a side. And I was like,
I love tater tots. Tater tots are vegan.
I'm like, excuse me, are these tots tatered in house?
No.
And this
Answer, no.
this cute little Spanish lady, she's like first generation American or immigrant, whatever. I don't know. But she's my waitress and it just went right over her head. She's like, no, we buy them from Cisco. I'm like, God, the joke didn't land.
That's
Everybody
GMOs.
at the table. Yeah.
Eating
Exactly.
out's fucking hard.
GMOs, all sorts
GMOs.
of bullshit. But I got this steak at this place, and I asked, I'm like, this is a Cisco steak. I know it is, and I could cut it, and like I've eaten so much steak over the last year and some change, about a year and a half now. I've eaten so much good, high quality grass fed, maybe with a little bit of a corn finish, so it gets some fats in there, because a grass fed steak's usually pretty lean.
Mm-hmm.
It also takes the farmer twice as long to raise the cow to a point where they can be butchered. So
yeah.
But yeah, it's a very much appreciative. I think a lot of carnivores get a bad rap from the vegans because you could probably never imagine like doing an animal harm, right? And like
But I was raised in a redneck family, so
you understand it.
Yeah, like I think if you're even like all for it, like if you're hunting to feed yourself, not for trophy sport, yes, do that. Feed yourself with venison for the next year, like. Right.
I think you could do both. Like if
like you said, you use that word mindful. That's important. Mindfulness.
Yeah, like I know a lot of hunters that they're just out for the trophies, and I know some hunters that they're out for both. They want to hunt that majestic. They're connected to nature. They're so grateful that they got that animal, and they're going to use every part they can to make a bone broth stew.
Yeah.
To get the leather upholstered. And they'll take the trophy, but they'll also use every part of it. And
I'm just saying, like hunting a fucking giraffe. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that's where I'm like, I don't know.
That shit makes me mad. I'm like, I ain't even gonna get into it.
If the
giraffe, eats my blood just talking about it.
A lot of military guys, we joke around this. Like, I think hunters are very skilled, but I'm like, if the fucking deer could shoot back, I'd have a lot more fun. That's some hunting there.
Yeah, you're going to Africa and you're paying like a local to guide you exactly where the giraffes live. Yeah. That's not hunting.
I have this.
It's a glamorous tour where you get to shoot something.
Yeah,
like you're not hunting. That's fucking garbage, man. You didn't do any of the work. Yeah, you're just rich. That's all you have going for you.
If you can't hit a giraffe,
like you're
you
a fucking
really
idiot.
Shoot.
You're pretty.
You're pretty.
You're pretty.
No, I'm kind of split on hunting. I like it to be purposeful. I understand
mindful.
Why people hunt. I understand, and there is a lot of good animal conservationists that are hunters. Like hunting regulations have done more for animal populations in the U.S. than anything else. And so it's like it's a very good thing that a lot of people disagree with, and they get a lot of hate. But it's very like connecting to nature. It's very good, and so I understand that. Same thing with the cattle. Like they give these cows like the best life, And then when they're at an age,
if it's done right,
if it's done right, because then there's
because I feel like 80% of it's not done right.
Yes, if they're exactly. That's the bullshit we're talking about.
That's the poison.
The GMOs. This steak I'm talking about, I've had enough steak so far that when I slice into a steak, it's just gorgeous.
Yeah,
it's like,
and you're like, what is this, paper?
And no, there's literally food glue.
Ugh.
Like imagine cutting a steak open and there's a spider web holding it together.
Ew. Like slime?
You slice a little bit of it and then you like pull it apart and it's just like spider web.
I got chills.
Cut into your steak, boys. Cut into your steak, boys, and then start tearing it. It should tear normal. You know what a normal steak looks like if you tear it. But if it doesn't look normal, that's a food glue. They
Probably
have
most
basically...
people haven't had like a real steak.
That's true. They're expensive now.
Yuck.
I think I paid...
Shit, everything is expensive now. I'm fucking dying.
Yeah,
I can't even get a bell pepper for less than $5.
So this is where it gets interesting. Let's talk about this, actually. Let's switch gears. This is where it gets interesting, Leah, because Leah is a vegan. So let's ask the audience, if you meet a vegan, what kind of political alignment would you prescribe them? Just if you took a guess. This is where Leah is a conundrum. Where do you fall? I think it's asinine these days to like even label it, but for the sake of communicating with our fellow Americans, where do you line out politically?
Yeah, so I consider myself a libertarian, but I lean a little bit conservative. But yeah, mostly it's just libertarian. I'm all for just do what it is that you believe in and that you want to do and what you think is right for you.
Individual rights.
Don't try and force it on me.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as it starts touching my rights, that's when I'm gonna get pissed.
Yes, the left and the right are fucking pretty. You guys are bonkers ass people.
You're so pretty.
But I'm the same way. I'm libertarian. I do lean more conservative in my decisions. I think that's a logical brain. I think that's healthy.
Critical thinking.
Taking
the leap.
So I will say, with all the bullshit going on, both parties are scum. Both parties are scum. This just in, folks. Both parties are scum. If you're all, I support Donald Trump because I think he's actually more libertarian. And
I would agree with that.
He pisses off both parties, Republican and Democratic. Mm-hmm. Never forget the 2016 Republican convention where all of the nominees for president were debating and the entire audience booed Donald Trump because he called them out as their donors. They were donating for political gain. They were lobbying the government, and he called them out, and the entire audience booed him in 2016. These are other fucking Republicans. Okay, I'm going to say this to you, Leah, but I'm addressing the world through this camera. The Republican Party had more incentive to assassinate Trump than anybody else. Don't lose your fucking heads, people. I still support Donald Trump. I support...
I mean, why do you think they've been ragging on him so goddamn hard?
Jeez, man.
I mean, they have tried everything to bring this man down, and he is back again for election.
Yeah. He got in the office. They didn't think he was going to win. They didn't think he was going to win the election because it's been rigged for decades.
Yep.
So they thought they had enough. They didn't because so many people came out to the polls. They couldn't handle it. If they rigged the 2016 election, it would have shown their hand. It would have revealed them. And this is the deep state we're talking about. This is some Alex Jones shit that's actually real. It's been verified. You've seen it. It's right in front of your fucking faces, people. Look at it. Okay, I'm not saying for either side. I don't care. It's not about that. It's just about being an American.
He's so lively right now.
It's about American. Yeah, I've had a little bit of alcohol. I'm good to go.
I love it.
So like that's the thing.
Finishing my last sip right here.
Yeah. If you need more, let me know. But I lost my train of thought. But they basically
Sorry.
Yeah. You know, they
Deep
didn't
state.
think he was going to win.
Deep state.
They didn't think he was going to win. They planned poorly, and he won in 2016. If they had done something about it then, it would have shown their hand. It would have revealed the corruption. So they didn't. They waited another 4 years. They made sure they rigged that election, and that's why you see that fucking hockey stick and the voting counts 30 minutes before the timers were up, right? It's right there in front of you. Then Biden was in office. They knew Trump was going to run again, so they had to eliminate him or take him off the ballot in some way. So they tried indictments. They impeached him twice. They tried to impeach him twice as president. That didn't work. And then they tried indicting him multiple times. I think they tried twice, failed twice in the last 4 years under Biden. And then now he's polling so much higher than Joe Biden because Joe Biden, let's be honest, he probably died a while ago. Go look at Hollywood's ability to make masks. Go talk to somebody. Go listen to CIA agents on podcasts. Go if you want to get real tinfoil hat, go look at cloning. They started cloning sheep in the 90s. I'm pretty sure they got it down. But whatever. So more likely is actors. It's Hollywood, the International Space Station, and NASA is all fucking fake. Go watch that on YouTube. Wake up. That's the whole point. Wake up. So
I'm a vegan and I endorse this.
Hey, this is why Leah and I get along.
Yeah.
This is great. And I'm sure Ty, I mean, how are you and Ty different in your beliefs as well, or?
We're like 100% the same.
Yeah. If you were to pick, like, what do you guys argue about though? Like, what's the one thing that you're
like politically?
Or anything, just relationship, anything.
Man, I mean, we probably argue about the one thing that every couple argues about, money.
Yeah.
That's like the biggest thing.
Yep.
Yeah. But everything else, yeah, all the politics, everything we believe, religion or lack thereof,
yeah,
we're completely all on the same page.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never been in more alignment in a couple than I have been with him.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Mal and I are like, we agree on 90% of stuff.
Yeah.
And the 8 to 10% is what we disagree on about. It could be anything. It could be about a remodel that we're doing or a studio like this that we're setting up.
Yeah.
We agree all the way to 90%. And then there's something that we're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah.
What, are you fucking kidding me, dude?
We do have like different, like you said, remodeling. We have different like interior design tastes. I'll be the first to admit that like I like things when I look at them, but I can't put them together. Like visually, I do not have like a visual capacity in my brain.
To like
my creativity is like, it's like writing and like technicalities. And he's visual. He's the art. I'm like, so we're trying to do remodel too. And I'm like, just fucking do it. Whatever you want, you do it, because I can't map shit together to save me. I can't.
We have a similar breakdown. Like Mal, she'll get a stroke of genius. So I'll be visualizing something and then Mal will say something else and give me this like brilliant. Like it comes from Mal.
You kind of bounce off each other a little bit.
Yeah, she gives me inspiration for something. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Because we're thinking about how to hang certain studio lights or do something where we can have like a lot of versatility. And I'm like, I don't get it. And then she'll say something and we'll be at Home Depot and I'm like,
oh my God.
There it is. That's the answer.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we got it. But yeah, so you're a vegan that is libertarian and you think critically. And I think you can be liberal and think critically. I think you can be Republican, Democrat. You can think critically in any way you want. But that's the key factor. Vegan, carnivore, leftist, right. Doesn't matter. If you're thinking critically, other people see you. Other critical thinkers, they're like, it's like this. It's like that. The Great Gatsby with Leo DiCaprio.
I was going to say Leonardo. Yep. Oh, I love that meme.
Yeah, that's a great meme.
Yeah.
Everything is expressed. All the great ideas of today's they're all expressed in memes. It's like the Greeks and their Stoics, and their quotes and their
they're
statues.
The theorists.
Yeah.
The memes are the theorists.
Our
now.
mark on the timeline of humanity is memes. Everything is expressed.
I don't really feel that proud of that. It's a sad contribution. We had Instagram, folks.
Well, what's funny? What if all the Greek shit or all the quotes we find on ancient records? What if those were just jokes? And we're such wise words,
That was all satire.
Yeah, they're oh, that was just.
That was two dudes in podcast form, just shooting the shit.
Julius Caesar was actually just a comedian.
He was actually so funny.
I think that's what the Bible is.
Oh, I 100% think the Bible is a fiction book. I say that all the time.
I think there's a lot of things that are proven in the Bible, but I think the overarching message of the Bible is an allegory for finding truth within yourself.
We take it very literally.
We take it too literally, yeah. Even though it's backed up with locations. It's like a historical fiction.
But all of the books I read, all of those locations are fucking real.
Yeah, historical
not all
fiction.
of them, obviously. Yeah.
So you don't
or even
read
just a normal ass book.
What do you read? What's your go-to?
I just only read fiction.
Okay, what's your go-to one?
I love smut.
Smut? Okay, yeah.
I'm one big contradiction, yeah.
Okay.
Because you got the yoga thing. I'm a yoga teacher, but I fucking love smut books, man. Endorsements.
What's your favorite smut book?
Sponsor me.
We'll plug it.
My favorite smut book?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, it's probably the same as everyone else. It's ACOTAR.
ACOTAR?
Yeah. A Court of Thorns and Roses. That's the first book name, but that's what the whole series is.
So I don't even know. I'm not familiar with
that
smut.
one's fantasy smut.
Like magic and fantasy?
Yeah, there's some magic. There's fairies.
Okay, the fae folk.
Yeah. I talked about this in Cody's podcast. I fucking love Twilight. I read Twilight every Christmas. I have no shame. I love that book.
That's not smut though, right?
No, that's not smut.
That's like a romance.
That's YA smut because there's some sexual tension.
Yeah, there's some teen.
Yeah, but I'll pretty much read anything in the smut category.
So what does smut get pretty descriptive?
Yeah. Yeah, you can go from so many different directions. I just got finished reading a really super dark one.
It's like fantasy porn on pages.
Yeah, it's just written porn.
Written porn. Okay,
yeah, but it's written by women, so of course it's
it's more.
There's romantic elements.
There's not many male smut authors.
No, they wouldn't do it very well.
Yeah, he jerked off and came, and
yeah, that was pretty much.
And then he killed all the orcs.
I fucked her hard.
And then he cast a spell. Yeah, like Chris D'Elia. You ever heard of that guy? Yeah, I fucked her hard. Even the nerd who's he's like, I fuck so hard.
Yeah.
Every guy is just I fuck hard.
Yeah.
I do it.
Big dick.
Yeah. So yeah, guys are horrible at that stuff.
Yeah, no, we women do the whole shebang. It's very
it's a huge
detailed and romantic
industry. It's a huge industry too.
I'm writing a smut book right now.
Are you really?
Yeah, it's a vampire smut.
Do you want to do audiobook? Because we do those.
Yeah,
we do audiobooks
for sure. When I finish it,
but we have a pretty high standard. Yeah. I don't think we would like our.
You want that on your reputation?
Yeah.
We're
gonna have to edit this episode so much. I don't know.
I don't know.
Half of our clientele are more.
We're starting to get into the call her daddy territory.
Yeah, but smut is a huge industry.
It is
in the novel section.
Yeah,
go to Barnes and Noble.
I just love books though, general fiction.
Yeah.
But smut
what's your
is
favorite fiction book, smut or not? I mean, let's take the smut out of it. But what's your favorite fiction book?
Those two.
Okay, right. So
Twilight and Akatar.
Twilight. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. Oh, I love Twilight.
I can't ever. There's
never
only
get
a
over
couple series I've reread.
Oh, Harry Potter also.
I've reread Harry Potter. I've reread. I'm into science fiction. Like I love military fiction, science fiction especially. Just the idea of this like elite force like parachuting from orbit through the atmosphere down to like go do some, Halo Master Chief kind of shit. I love that stuff. And like I love the idea of science fiction because it could be like in the future, like we could potentially become that, right? Like
or like dystopian society type shit.
Yeah, that one I don't delve into that as much. It's
usually a little bit of sci-fi though.
It is, yeah. I do enjoy a couple of them. There's a series called Helldiver where they live on these airships because all the nuclear war down below. And they live on these airships, and so these Helldivers have to parachute down to the surface to find resources and like bring them back up to the airship. So they have these like
Helldivers,
inflatable balloons that like they deploy this canister and like the balloon just like tears them up into the sky.
You guys don't have to write down that book and the other one because I don't remember.
It's not smutty.
Something
though.
with the devil was the first one.
Outwitting the devil. Yeah, we'll do that one.
I'll probably listen to that. I can't read nonfiction.
Yeah, listen to it.
I have tried. It's not for me.
But if you like military science fiction, that I could give you recommendations, but I haven't been big on the smut.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the smut I read, there is some like combative.
There's fantasy
parts.
Elements to it, right? Like,
yeah. Or like the dark ones are very like it's a lot of training and killing and like stuff like that's very
like
dark.
Assassination, like secret.
Yeah.
Like magic, spells, Dungeons and Dragons style.
Yeah, that's Akatar. But like the one I just finished reading is Hunting Adeline, and that one is like all QAnon type shit.
Oh, really?
But it's smut.
But it's smut QAnon.
Yeah, so it's just a super sexy main character guy who is like taking down the deep state.
And just
with
getting
his like
tail
own little
the whole time.
Oh yeah, just banging it out. Yeah. That shit is so good. It's dark as fuck. I would not recommend unless you have conquered your triggers.
Conquer your triggers, yeah. Well, that's cool. That's kind of indicative that you have conquered that. I mean,
yeah, that shit's dork.
Yeah, it's dorky. That's cool.
No,
that's
dork.
authentic.
Like
though.
dork as in like dark.
Oh, dork.
It's dork.
Dark.
Like horde.
Okay. Horde. Yeah. Dark, hard. Okay, gotcha. I see. I thought you were saying dorky.
No, I mean.
It is a little bit.
A little bit. Well, the fantasy stuff definitely can be.
You're a dork.
The magic and shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm a big nerd.
I'm as
You can visit my Instagram. I have all my book recommendations on there.
Yeah, I'm creating my own
shameless plug
tabletop role-playing game like Dungeons and Dragons, but it's just in a science fiction setting. I'm like creating a system and trying to get play testers, and it's
hard. That's like writing a book from scratch. That shit's hard.
Kinda, yeah, it is. It's a little bit of
hard.
Both. It's hard. It's difficult. It's fun though, but I realized that like I although I'm in the top tier of nerds, I still have many mountains to climb in that realm.
I'm kind of nerdy too, like game wise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I fuck with games. Yeah.
What do you play? Board games? What do you play?
I love Splatoon. Can't even lie.
Splatoon.
That's a Nintendo game.
Oh, okay.
I love Splatoon. I'll play Stardew Valley, Animal Crossing. I'll play The Sims. These are all like girl versions of games.
Yeah, my sisters play those.
But I used to love Call of Duty. I haven't played it since.
What about like Mario Kart?
Yeah,
you fucks with Mario Kart.
Yeah, I fuck with Mario Kart.
Yeah, Mal's actually really good at Mario Kart.
Mario Party.
Mario Party's fun.
So you're like the Wii. I fuck with some Wii tennis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What
is the little town called? It starts with a B. The little town in the Nintendo tennis. It's like a British town name. Damn, that's gonna bug me.
I can't remember.
Oh.
I know what you're talking about. I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
We'll put it in the comments.
I remember because I was just watching How I Met Your Mother and they were playing the tennis in there. He's like, "Oh, it's Wimbledon."
Wimbledon.
He's like, "This is Wimbledon, Ted."
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, that's like the biggest town for tennis. It's the Wimbledon Open.
Wimbledon, yeah.
It's like the Mecca.
He was like, "Don't fuck with us right now."
Yeah, this is really cool. We have a lot of people do podcasts here. We love them all. We've had some excellent conversations in this area, but in this house, in this studio. But not a lot of people delve into this kind of nerdiness. right? Like this.
I mean,
is
I'm probably
excellent.
not dropping like any knowledge on people, but
No, but it's authentic. This is what resonates with people. So
yeah.
If you were to give the audience some word of advice, something that you've learned that helped you be your most authentic self, you can take a minute to think about this too. But what would be the nugget of knowledge that you could pass on that maybe somebody might take inspiration from?
Man, Cody asked me this question too, and I remember I had such a damn good answer.
It's formatted differently.
And it was formatted different. I can't remember the way that I phrased it, but that's where my mind went. I mean, it kind of isn't like in line with kind of what we've already been talking about, but taking the leap. I think you have to let shit fall apart in order to build it back up to what you want it to be.
I mean, yeah.
Like,
if you're gonna own your identity, it's got to break apart, and then you gotta
you
rebuild
almost can't even find who you truly are until you hit rock bottom.
Oh.
You know?
What we never talked about it. What was your rock bottom? Was there a moment when you were out there partying?
Yeah, I think it was just all a summation. I don't remember. I don't have like a specific memory.
It was kind of
like
drawn
a
out.
time of rock bottom. It was just like, man, like I don't feel like I'm a good person. Like I'm not like being a good person. I'm not making good choices. Like I'm sick of doing that shit.
You didn't like who you were.
I didn't like who I was. Yeah.
Yeah, that can be.
Like shit had to fall apart in order for me to be like, wow, something has to change.
Yeah, you don't have to be like in prison or like in millions of dollars in debt or like
shooting up heroin.
Yeah, lose your kids in a car accident or something. It doesn't have to be horrendous to hit rock bottom. Everybody has a rock bottom of their own.
Yeah.
So yours was kind of drawn out, but like
in those years of like mistake after mistake after mistake after.
But you didn't
getting fucked over and then another mistake and then getting fucked over again and another mistake.
So it was kind of like a gradual descent into rock bottom?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So you might not have known you were there for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because some people fall off the top and just smack rock bottom.
Yeah.
Other people like,
no. I feel like my whole life has been like this. Just a roller coaster.
So you kind of started realizing, hey, I'm at rock bottom. I need to make some changes.
Yeah.
And then you
take the leap. Fall apart and then take the leap.
Fall apart and then take the leap, folks. That's a good one. I don't
really have a really pretty way of saying that, but
yeah, kind of.
I wish I could just like recall what I said on Cody's podcast.
No,
however I said on that was so money.
We'll link it if you want. Yeah, we'll link Leah's other podcast with Cody Aiden. It was a good one, and like I didn't see the whole thing, but the edits that we did and the clips. Like, it was good stuff. You got good stuff to say, Leah.
Oh, thank you.
You got a unique experience.
I don't have like nuggets, you know? I don't feel like I'm like dropping knowledge, but maybe, maybe someone can.
I got some nuggets. Can I share them?
Sure.
Okay, the fact that you went through the trauma and the abuse that you had, and you don't have a victim mentality, and you're not complaining about it, you own that shit so the others have no power over you. That was a nugget I got. Leah owns her shit so fast, so good, that nobody else can own anything over her.
So fast. It's so good.
So good. So hard.
So hard.
I think there's a lot of power in that. You have owned all of the trauma that's happened to you. You've owned everything to you. It's yours. It's yours to share. It's yours to give. It's yours to suppress, to defend, to let go of. There's no one else that's ever held the puppet strings over Leah.
No.
Except you.
Yep.
That's a nugget.
I think that's a good nugget. Yeah. In general, I don't.
Because sometimes
I don't let people fuck with me anymore.
I know some badass dudes that are veterans and they have a little bit of victim mentality. Nobody knows. Like, I served a lot. I served a lot.
And he was in the army.
Yeah. I served a lot. And people pay dearly for that. Maybe they lose a limb. They lose, their brain function or whatever. And they have a chip on their shoulder and it's a victim and it's an entitlement. And they hold on to that stuff. Mm-hmm. And it gives other people power over them. Yeah. I know exactly. I have a friend who was a Marine, very similar career as mine. And I know exactly what sentence I can say stuff like, maybe the Marine Corps isn't the best fighting force on the planet. Maybe the Marine Corps' history was kind of
murky,
kind of propagandized to make us sound dope. So people join and he'll lose his fucking shit. To this day, I can say a sentence and he will lose his mind. I have complete power over that person and those insecurities or whatever. And so if you own it, no one else has power over you.
Yeah.
So
that's
a nugget I learned from Leah today.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Yeah. You got any jokes? You got a joke you want to end on?
A joke? Like a dad joke?
Whatever. A Leah joke? A mom joke?
Man, I used to really have I had a good dad joke once upon a time.
But you're not a dad,
and
so it
I've lost
you.
it in that much time.
This is a measurement of time, by the way.
I lost it after this.
Leave your favorite smut book that you mentioned. A core or whatever?
ACOTAR.
ACOTAR. Okay, ACOTAR.
A Court of Thorns and Roses.
There's your plug. You heard it here first, folks. Appreciate you tuning in to Authentic Identity. I hope this was helpful. I hope you felt somewhat offended, and I hope you chill the fuck out. And I hope you come on and leave a comment and let's talk about it. Defend your stance and attack mine, please. And also, shout out to Leah. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Do you feel like we got to the bottom of your story? Do you feel like you expressed well?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
If you want to come back and do a redo in a couple weeks, let us know. But that's it from everybody. Mallory, thank you for being beautiful and being on the controls. Blitz and Zelda, thanks for chilling out and not causing a ruckus, my dogs that are in the studio. And you guys have a good one. Keep it real. And just remember, that's all.
Please don't edit that out.
I never do.